Hello. Okay. In this opportunity, I would like to present about my research. My research is about big data modern stack for district government. Me as a Mutiara Auliya and my co-author, Mr. Abdulaziz and Mr. Wahyu. Okay. Talking about the big data modern stack, we have some problem. Problem is data is the new oil for all circle, including the district government. The more information system that are used, more data will be collected. The obstacle faces by the district government are: the first is various of data type, and the second is stored in a different store. Okay, let's discuss one by one. The first problem is various of data type. We know that in the district government we have a lot of information system. We have a lot of information system that have many database. For example, MySQL, or maybe PostgreSQL, or maybe Oracle database. And second, we have many documents. Of course, we have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, CSV, Google Docs, and Google Spreadsheet. And then, if we want to know the analytic of the website, sometimes we use a Google Analytics, or if we want to know about the ads, we can use some mixed panel and etc. That's all the various of data type. And then the second problem is the data is stored in a different store. We know that we have a lot of information system, we have a lot of document, and then we know that the information system sometimes in the server, in the hosting, in the VPS, or maybe in a dedicated server, and maybe the document in the local computer, and maybe the document in the cloud storage, for example in the Google Drive. Yeah, we know that a lot of spreadsheet in the Google Drive, something like that both of the problem, it makes a lot of problem. For example, like the various of data type, and then the store in a different store, it's make the problem. The problem one, what's the problem? The problem one is the data will be not collected in one store. Of course, as I said just now, because the data is, we have a lot of data, we have various data type. So, and then the data is sometimes placed in the cloud, sometimes placed in the server, sometimes in placed in the employee computer or laptop. So the data will be not collected in one store. This is the first problem. And then the second problem, because the data is not collected in the one store, so we cannot analysis of the each data. However, the data is the new oil, so we can mining the data. But if the data is not stored in the one place, how can we analyze it? So the second problem is because of the data is not in one place, so the analysis process become difficult, and then it's difficult to make a dashboard for the stakeholder to approach a good decision making. We know sometimes data analytic, we can make some decision making for the data analytic. Yeah, it's some like a business intelligence, but how if we cannot analyze it properly because of the different store of the data. So this is the second problem. So for the last year, we have some traditional method. It's called ETL, extract, transform, and load. ETL is a data integration process that extracts data from outside source, transform the data according to business need, and store it into the data warehouse. This is the traditional method for data handling for the data source, and then we can extract the data, and then we can transform and load it into the data warehouse. After that, after the data is put in the data warehouse, we can make some business analytic and business intelligence from the data warehouse, so we can analyze it in the data warehouse. But the traditional method is not working properly because ETL based on traditional method has lacked on the data engineers used to write transformation job before loading data. And then the data engineers should study about ETL tools. Data engineer actually is complex, okay? Not so easy as we talking about the data. We can mining the data, we can combining all the data, something like that. But actually this is more complex, okay? The third problem comes because of, yeah, we know as a data engineer we should extract and transform, and then after that we can load in the data warehouse. Actually that cannot be solved using like a query, so it needs some ETL tools like a Pentaho, something like that. So we know that in the district government actually we don't have like expert like a private company. We lack of knowledge in our employees, and then we have some limitation of human resource. So we have to thinking that how we handle the big data be more efficient and not so complex like the traditional method. So here the solution is their modern data stack. Modern data stack actually it the second edition from the traditional method, but it's more efficient, scalable, and not so complex like the ETL tool for like the traditional method. And then the modern data stack actually not need all of knowledge of a lot of the employees knowledge, something like that. They only need like the SQL, yeah, only the SQL. So what is modern data stack? Modern data stack actually it's a suite of tools used for data integration. The goal is to analyze your business data to proactive uncover new area of opportunity and improve efficiency. Modern data stack is hosted in the cloud and require little technical configuration by the user. Okay, we can see here and that the modern data stack is require a little technical configuration by the user. So it's not like the traditional method that the data engineer needs to know more about the ETL tools, but in here we decrease all the technical configuration. So this is the diagram of the modern data stack. The first is a source, and then source we ingest into one. This is called the ingestion process. And then after we ingest the data, we ETL. We ELT become the enter the data warehouse. After that we transform, and then we visualization, and then the last is syncing and automation. So this is our proposed method. We have a lot of source here, like the document in the Google Drive, and then the MySQL database, and for the Google Analytics. So after the source we collect it, we are enter to the data ingestion process. In the data ingestion process, we use some ELT, or the extract load transform, not ETL, but here we use ELT, extract load transform, using a 5-trend. 5-trend actually it's application for the ingestion, for ingest the data become well stored, and then after we ingest the data, the 5-trend will be collect all the data become one store. So the destination of the 5-trend for the data ingestion is our data warehouse. So because in our research here, the data warehouse actually using a PostgreSQL. So data warehouse we are using here is a PostgreSQL. And then after the data come to the data warehouse, and all of the data come store in one store, and then we can analyze the data using the BI tools. And this research we use Google Data Studio. Why? Because Google Data Studio is a free, and then it's more easy, and then all of the people can use the Data Studio. The Google Data Studio, and then the Google Data Studio need some installation process like a Tableau or the Power BI, something like that. Okay, this is the implementation of result. We can see our in 5-trend we connect Google Sheets, MySQL database, and Google Drive to the PostgreSQL data warehouse. So in the 5-trend we can choose many the connector. For example, here like the Google Sheets, we use Google Sheet, and then MySQL, and then we use Google Drive. For example, if your government already use some SQL server, we can connect it using a 5-trend for the SQL server. Or maybe your government actually already use Postgres, it's okay, you can use the Postgres. Okay, and then this is the BI tool. For the BI tool, we use Google Data Studio for display the data of each district government. This is the example of the BL tool. We can know the Sarana Pendidikan in Kecamatan Kiara Condong, Kota Bandung, 2019 here. This is the BI tool. So the evaluation. Since 5-trend is data ingestion tool based on cloud, we should pay as we go. So it depends on the amount of the data. So the modern data stack actually all of their service actually in the cloud, not on premise. Okay, and actually the modern data stack is will be making easy for all of the people. So that's why the modern data stack actually in the cloud. But we know that government district actually the data is on the local or on premises. So it's okay. We can still use the 5-trend and then combine it into the data warehouse. The data warehouse actually in the on-premise, it's okay. Like my research here, the data warehouse is in on-premise, not in the cloud. So since 5-trend is as pay as we go, so it depends on the amount data. More increase the data, we have to pay increase too. And then for the synchronize, it's how often we synchronize it. we have to pay more too. So it's based on your setting actually. So the conclusion, in this research, we could successfully implement modern data stack for district government. We use ELT method for data ingestion into data warehouse, then display the data into the BI tool for the stakeholder. For future work, we can try another data warehouse approach. As we know that in here we only use the PostgreSQL since the government district here, the data warehouse actually in the on-premise, so we use modern data stack that not only use cloud, but here is using on-premise too. But maybe in the future work we can use like a cloud data warehouse, for example, like Google BigQuery or maybe Snowflake, something like that. So in here, just a sample, okay, just a sample. So we can implement modern data stack for the district government, use the ELT method, not ETL method. And for the ELT method, we can use some query, like a little bit like the query of MySQL, not using like ETL tools. So all the employee of the district government, actually the database administrator or maybe the computer officer, can make this modern data stack by themselves, because the computer officer only need the computer knowledge, internet knowledge, and then data knowledge, business intelligence knowledge, and also the query knowledge. So they do not have to learn a lot about the ETL tools again. Okay, thank you. This is my presentation. If you have some question, you can ask me on the discussion. Thank you.